All right, folks. I heard what y'all got up to last night at that Ponce de Leon Hotel. But I gotta say, it's a strange feeling being both impressed and disgusted at the same time.
I'm proud of myself.
Well, you should be, because I'll tell you what. Now, which one of y'all thought it'd be a good idea to tap dance on the piano? You.
Yes.
You know what they're calling that piano now?
What's that?
Firewood. It smashed all to pieces. That means that you must have been swinging around from the chandelier. All right. Now, don't worry, man. We will get you dressed down from that chandelier.
Oh, no.
Right. But I hear out of all the fun y'all did have last night, y'all went around and forgot what year it is. Now, I don't know if somebody goes around forgetting the year. What year y'all think it is?
1566.
1566. You're going to be here listening. Jeez, what about you, ma'am? What year do you think it is?
18 something.
18 something. How long was she listening last night? Oh, it's 1908, guys.
Oh, 1908.
Beautiful, sunny St. Augustine, Florida. Well, I'm sorry, folks. That one's on the way, and it's St. Augustine. That's just because you know.
Listen.
You do know me, right?
No.
You don't know me?
No.
Henry Flagler, the world's second richest man?
No. Okay.
Henry Flagler,
Yes,
right?
yes, I do.
Good. That saves you 4 hours of explanation and interpretive dance. Nobody wants to see that. Now, in case you don't know, Mr. Flagler about that fancy railroad in history, Jacksonville, all the way down to the Keys, stopped at St. Augustine. He said, you know this area to use? A hotel. So we built that big old fancy Ponce de Leon hotel y'all tried to destroy last night. Man, when he built it, he said this is going to be the nicest hotel on this side of Mississippi. Now, if you ask me, it's the nicest hotel on either side of Mississippi.
Okay.
People started complaining. Mr. Flagler said, well, what could you have to complain about? And they said, well, Mr. Flagler, if you can't see the problem, you sure can't smell it, all right? Come to find out, he had accidentally built his hotel across the street from our old jail. All right, now, have you ever stood around hooting, hollering, and harassed rich people all day?
When I was in the Marine Corps, yeah.
So you know how fun it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't find it very fun.
Yes, it is.
The rich people.
I wasn't rich, though.
Yeah, the rich people don't like it at all. So Mr. Flagler said, we can't have none of this. He marched on down to that county office. He kicked in the door to that commissioner's office and he said, hey, buddy, you need to move that jail away from my hotel. Commissioner said, look, I'd love to help you, but we can't afford something like that. You know how much that would cost? They said, well, buddy, you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
He pulled $10,000 out of his pocket and said, how about now? I picture that, 1888, $10,000.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. They said, we can come to an agreement. So that's what they did. Mr. Flagler said, since I'm paying for it, I got 2 conditions, all right? Condition number 1, it needs to be at least 1 mile outside the city gates. So here we are, 1 mile outside of St. Augustine city gates. 1.5 miles away from that Ponce de Leon hotel. He said, condition number 2, I don't want it to look like a jail. All right, that's because when people come by on that fancy railroad of his, their very first introduction to beautiful St. Augustine be a dirty, old, nasty, stinky, smelly jail.
He basically built a railroad, too, all the way down to Key West, too.
So, he put all them Victorian designs on the side. He put rocking chairs out. He even put gardens out front. What else y'all notice kind of weird about this jail? What?
Well,
The color. It's pink. Who wants to be locked up in a pink jail? Not me.
oh, it's pink. They have bars, they don't have bars.
Definitely not our sheriff. You see, the sheriff, he does get some joy out of being in a pink jail, all right? Because when people do come by on that railroad and they see this big old beautiful pink jail, they think to themselves, what a pretty hotel that is.
Oh, they don't want to.
St. Augustine, they're going to check into that Ponce de Leon. They tell them how much it costs to stay there. They say, buddy, we ain't paying them prices. We saw a perfectly fine hotel on the way in. That's what taking our business. That's what they do. They mosey on down here thinking it's a hotel. And they knock on that big metal door right there. If that's not indication enough to where they are, y'all know who answers that door, don't you? It's Sheriff Joe Perry. He is 6'6", 350 pounds. Your intimidation, he's got a mean streak a mile wide.
That one?
He's got a sense of humor too. So he looks down at them tourists with a smile on his face and says, how can I help you out there? I say, hi sir, we're looking for lodging. He goes, lodging? Y'all paid life for lodging, didn't y'all? I said, what do you mean? We're only looking to stay 3 to 5 days. He said, buddy, all I got accommodation for here is 3 to 5 years. They take a look around and realize where they at. They come around and hightail it out of here as fast as you ever can see. Now, speaking of the sheriff, I think I saw him around here somewhere. I want to introduce y'all to the man that's going to be overseeing your stay, all right? Y'all just find him. Less respect. All right? But ladies, don't get no funny ideas, all right? Because he's a happily married man. And his wife's up there in the window. I tell you what, she's a better shot than he is. Yeah, y'all folks.
Oh, wow.
right across the front, please. Nope.
There.
There you go. Yeah. That is what we call the AA Center. Who knows what AA stands for?
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Alcohol. Who wants to be anonymous while drinking alcohol? That don't make no sense. It's attitude adjustment. I can tell you that you need one, all right? Now,
That's why I got 3 to 5.
you get thrown in these stockades here, them stockades there, or even the sitting down stockades, all right? Now, all you got to do to get thrown over here is spit, cuss, or give a dirty look, and I can tell you, man, we spend a lot of time in it. Now, what kind of birds y'all suppose we're going to be putting in the bird cage?
Jailbirds.
Jailbirds, yes, sir. You sound like you want to try. There you go. So we take the jailbird, put them in the bird cage. We close it, we lock it, we throw away the key. And can you guess what we do next? We take a rope. We put it through that top hoop up there. We find the highest tree branch in that there tree. We hoist the jailbird up. We tie the jailbird off. We leave it hanging on there for 2 whole days.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, because it ain't so bad being up there, all right? You get a fantastic view. You can see the trees, the farms, the city, the ocean, and my favorite view of all is them ominous black clouds coming over the horizon. Y'all know that Florida's the lightning capital of the world, right? Yeah, if you didn't know that, it's going to be a shocking experience for you. Don't worry, the jokes only get worse. Now, does anybody claim this degenerate here? So I think you're better off with the cake.
He thinks that too sometimes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's nice. I know.
Yeah, if y'all ever seen anything as pretty as this back porch before, well, of course you have. You've been standing in these last 8 minutes. Now, we ain't gonna be staying here, all right? This is for the sheriff, his deputies, any distinguished folks or family that's come through to see him. Now, I wouldn't get too close to them windows because the sheriff ain't keen on people who think he's trying to spy on him. Matter of fact, I'm getting kind of uncomfortable just standing here. So why don't I show y'all where we are gonna be staying?
Oh.
Now, I know y'all did have a whole lot of fun last night. In your eyes is probably playing tricks on you, all right? But I guarantee there ain't no glass in them there windows, only bars. All right, not the bars I was expecting to find in St. Augustine. Now, this is what we call an open air jail. So anything that's out here is going to be in there with us. It's raining out here, it's raining in there. It's windy out here, it's windy in there. There's a hurricane going on out here, well, buddy, you better hang on for dear life because guess what? There's a hurricane in there too. Mm-hmm. Now, who likes animals?
Yep.
Good. We're going to have plenty of animals in there with us. I'm talking snakes, spiders, roaches, raccoons, squirrels, possums, lizards. Anything that can crawl and slither through them bars, you best believe is going to. Now let me show you my favorite place in the whole jail, to hang around.
The hang around? Okay.
Go to the rest
Oh, the gallows.
Y'all go inside the Gator Bob. You're going to go down this long hallway right here at the end on your left. All right. Get it, hang around. Now, as you can tell, St. Johns County Jail is in fact a hanging jail. We have 8 documented hangings, and what's the key word there? Documented, exactly. I had somebody in my last group yesterday say, hangings? And I was like, really? Now, I'm going to tell you all about our most recent hanging. His name was Charlie Powell, all right? Now, Charlie, he weren't such a bad guy. All Charlie got in trouble for was defending the honor of his wife. See, there was a fella down the saloon talking bad about Charlie's wife. Charlie didn't like that. He went down there and had a conversation with me and tried to straighten him out, as I'm sure any self-respecting husband would do for his wife. Am I right, sir? Good answer. She didn't see the audience. Now, the man didn't too much care what Charlie had to say. Charlie didn't like that neither, so they got into a fight. A fight turned into a brawl, and a brawl turned into Charlie pulling his gun out and shooting him. Now, in the state of Florida, when you kill a man, they kill you right on back in public fashion. So, sheriff caught up with him, put Charlie under arrest, put him in that cell right there. That is death row. And y'all's brave turning your back to an inmate like that. Now, on the morning of Charlie's execution, people came from all over the county and cities. Let's face it, guys, there ain't a whole lot of fun to be had in St. Augustine, right? So, they opened up Charlie's cell door and said, Charlie, it's time. Charlie was laying on the ground. He was still breathing. He was alive. All right? He just wasn't waking up for some reason. And that's a big problem, because if a man can't stand for his crimes, Man can't hang for his crimes, and neither. It ain't right. So they tried everything they could think of to wake Charlie up. They splashed him with a bucket of water. It didn't work. Played a game of kick the prisoner. He played at me. Make sure my ribs are tingling. I'm watching you. They even had a doctor come in and inject something into Charlie's arm. He still didn't wake up. So the deputies came out and they talked to the sheriff. They said, Sheriff Perry, we got a big problem. We have tried everything we could think of to wake Charlie up, and it ain't working. Sheriff said, what? You mean to tell me we got a whole crowd of people out here paid good money to see this, and we don't have a man to hang? Them ain't even people no more. Those voters. This is election season. We can't let them down. They said, well, what do you want us to do? And he said, you go out there, you find me the biggest, thickest board you can. We're going to tie Charlie to that board. That's what they did. They tied Charlie to that board, and all of a sudden he could stand again. It's a miracle, right? Not for Charlie. So the sheriff grabbed Charlie up by the scruff of his neck, drug him up all 13 steps to the top of the gallows. And y'all guess what they did next?
He tied him. He probably tied him
Dropped
to the
floor out from under Charlie's feet, and he fell. Now what they didn't take into account, though, was the extra weight of the board. It was too much for the rope to handle. So as soon as Charlie fell, that rope snapped. Charlie hit the ground right there, broke free from that board, rolled into the crowd in that very spot right there. You only got to look down, he ain't still there. Now,
I'm taking screenshots for my video.
Now, some people, when they saw that Charlie was still alive, they were ecstatic. They said, it's a miracle. Take this man to the hospital. He's still alive. Some people were mad because they came to see a show and they didn't get it. Our sheriff saw it as yet another act of defiance from Charlie Powell. First, the man won't stand. Now the man won't hang. We can't have this disrespect in our county, said the sheriff. He looked at his deputies. He said, one of y'all go find me a bigger, thicker rope. We are going to hang this man today. The deputy said, well, you can't do that. You can't hang a man twice for the same crime. It ain't right. You think the sheriff cared?
No.
He looked at his deputy and said, you want to end up here on death row with Charlie? Well, the deputy didn't know, so he obliged. He went and found that bigger, thicker rope. All right? By the time he got back 10 whole minutes later with that bigger, thicker rope, Charlie had already succumbed to his wounds. See, when that rope snapped, that wasn't the only thing that snapped. Now, guys, I'd say lucky for Charlie, right? Because I wouldn't want to be hanged twice in one day.
No.
Well, I wouldn't want to be hanged once in one day.
Yeah.
But still. Now, on that happy note, we're moving inside of the jail. All right, we're going to go down a hallway and make her get your hopes up, because them's the ladies' cells. You ain't never going to see those again. All right. Now, ladies, you're going to notice that each of those 2 cells has 2 beds. So I know what y'all's probably thinking. 2 times 2 is 7, right? And you're probably thinking to yourselves you can only arrest 7 women at a time, right? You'd be wrong. There's no holding capacity on any cell in this jail. You have 10, 15, 20, 25 people in the same cell. You also notice we ain't got no toilets. That's because what we got is better than toilets. We got buckets. Now, don't worry, because they do come and clean our buckets for us once every 2 weeks. But ladies, don't worry. If you were lucky enough to get in that cell right there on the end by the door, you are afforded the wonderful luxury of taking your bucket and pitching the contents out the window for a new clean bucket. I mean, just look how nice the foliage is over there. And I'd be very careful in doing so, though, okay? I would take my hand and stick it out that window and know which way the wind is blowing. You see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
That's the thing you want to do is put your contents of your bucket out the window, you get a little breeze in your face, and then you get a little something else in your face. Now you're wearing the contents of your bucket. It's a sticky situation. Like I said, the jokes get worse. Y'all follow me inside. Window.
Oh.
There's where your bucket is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a real picture.
Yeah.
Oh, there's...
Oh, we'll talk about him in a minute. Now, welcome to the most dangerous room in this here jail. This is maximum security. We're only the worst of the worst get sent, all right? I'm talking murderers, horse thieves, cattle rustlers, hopefully one day politicians too. Now,
Please.
when you look out the window here, your attention's first right towards the gallows. That's death row where Charlie was. Now, in the state of Florida, it's not only your punishment, you have to stare at those gallows for the last 30 days, you also have to build them with your own 2 hands. You gonna get it building things?
I'm not very
No?
I'm not very good.
That's why you have a dad.
Now, in this cell right here, we have isolation. That's where all of our sick people go, because disease can run pretty rampant through this jail if we don't nip it in the bud, all right? Right now, my good buddy Lee is in there. Lee's been waiting to see the doctor. Now,
Isolation.
guys, what Lee does not know is that the doctor only comes to this jail to found somebody in jail. But Lee's been getting better. He's been getting help. We'll open the jail population soon. Ain't that right, Lee?
I'm in isolation.
Lee. Hey, is he moving around in there?
I saw his lips move.
Okay, well, here you go. Now, in this cell right here, we have solitary confinement. Now, solitary confinement, as you can tell, has no windows. So therefore, it is as cold, dark, and black as my ex-wife's soul in there. Now, there ain't no mattresses. There ain't no pillows. Pretty soon, you're going to find out which side of the room the floor slopes to, because there ain't no bucket either. After about a week in that cell, all the creepy crawly critters that are crawling all over you, you start talking to them. After about another week in that cell, they start talking back. Boy, good thing. Now, they approached our sheriff. They want to do an experiment on Sim Jackson. They want to see how long a man can survive hanging on the gallows, and if he can respond to questions as well. Now, our sheriff, being a man of science as he is, agreed. He allowed them to conduct their experiment and take photographs at their pleasure. So, they realized that if Sim Jackson could respond to their questions, it would not be vocally, for obvious reasons. So they taught him sort of sign language. For yes, he would open his hands and close them. For no, he would open his hands and keep them open. So when the time came, they dropped the hammer. Sim fell, and they asked their very first question. Sim, can you hear us? Sim Jackson opened his hands and closed them. Yes, he could hear them. And then the second question came. Sim, are you in pain? Sim Jackson opened his hands and he closed them again. Yes, he was in pain. He was responsible for another full 10 agonizing minutes. It wasn't until the 14-minute mark that got out since Sim Jackson had passed away. Now, guys, don't get me wrong, like I said, Sim Jackson was a very bad man. He did some very bad things. That sounds like one of the worst ways to go. Every time I tell his story, it leaves me with a feeling deep in the pit of my stomach. Hunger. That's what that feeling is. Hunger. That's why we're going to the kitchen, guys. On trees.
Oh, cool.
All right, now welcome to the hottest room in this here jail, all right? When it's 95 degrees outside, it's 125 in here. That's because we got a wood burner, stove, concrete walls, and heat don't pass the concrete very well. Now, ladies, you're going to be spending between 12 and 14 hours of your day in this very room. Who likes to cook? Good. It's not a trick question. You're giving me here regardless. Who does not like to cook?
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent. That means you don't. Now, those of you who don't like to cook, get fun jobs. Either you can gather the firewood all day to keep this thing burning, or you can make the coffee. Which one would you rather do?
Firewood.
Firewood? Coffee or firewood?
Coffee.
Coffee? Well, you chose wrong.
Huh?
See, you chose wrong because you have to grind the beans by hand using that machine right there, all right? That is coffee grinder. Made of solid steel. Imagine turning that wheel for 12 to 14 hours.
Can I touch it?
Yeah. Just when we get in the sheriff's office, don't touch nothing. Now, anyways. At least you will get a nice arm workout, all right?
Yeah.
Turn that wheel for 12 to 14 hours, and you will get one of them 4 beds because nobody's going to mess with you after that. Now, they do feed us 3 square meals a day, and some people say, well, they can't be that bad if they're feeding you. Depends on what they're feeding.
Feeding you.
Yeah. Now, we're the most important meal of the day, guys. Breakfast. Who likes grits?
Actually, I do love grits.
It's all right. Yeah, all right. Well, you ain't going to like our grits.
I thought so.
No salt, no pepper, no sugar, no butter, no cheese, no shrimp, no sausage, no bacon, no nothing. All it is at this point is watered down sand. Now, if you don't like watered down sand for breakfast, that's okay, because you can move on to lunch. Now, lunch is better than 2 meals. So you get a healthy, hearty helping of beans. Hey, you guys are excited for the beans, I am. Now, that's okay, because if you don't like beans for lunch, we can move on to supper. Now, supper is the best meal of the day, because you get a choice. You can either have more beans, or my favorite option, no beans. That's it, beans or no beans. Now when we're in the field, it gets hot. When it gets hot, you use more energy, right? When you use more energy, you need food to get more energy, right? Well, they discovered pretty quickly it's kind of weird sending us out with a shirt pocket full of beans and grits. So they made us a snack. Now, what's your favorite snack?
M&M's.
M&M's? You?
Yeah.
Pretzels.
Pretzels. Pretzels.
Cookies.
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 Cookies. All right. Well, all these sound fantastic, guys. We ain't got nothing quite that nice. All we got is hardtack. Y'all know what hardtack is, right?
No.
No, it's really easy to make. All it is flour, water, and salt. You take it, you put it in the oven, and you bake it, 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 and what else do you do with it? No, you take it out of the oven. All of a sudden it comes out this size, and well, we don't call it hardtack for no reason, guys.
Hardtack, okay.
And no, you can't eat that raw, you break a tooth. That's what the coffee's for. You take the hardtack, throw it in the coffee, and such that it gets nice and soft. All right? But then you start to notice some things floating on the top. I suppose that means bugs. To be more specific, weevils. Weevils are tiny little bugs like get insects, flower, and they nest and lay their eggs and raise their families. So somebody makes them in a hardtack, those with some coffee. Now, guys, most people, when they say that for the first time, they go, "Oh, no, I don't want bugs in my coffee." And they pick them out, they pour it down, and get a new cup. Me personally, as you can tell, we don't get a lot of meaty protein around here, so I just serve them down with coffee. Don't worry, you get used to the crunch after a couple of weeks. Now, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I trust you.
Sure.
Good. You see that door across the hallway there, Jimmy? Why don't you go knock on that door for me?
Sheriff?
Yep, that's the one. Open it, poke your head in. Hey, well, he didn't get shot, then he's the sheriff ain't in his office. That's what we're going next, guys.
Oh, wow.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Now, welcome to the sheriff's office in Florida. Yeah, please. This is where the sheriff entertains all of his hot, dignitary friends that has come through to see him, all right? Now, when you first walk in, your attention is directed towards the fireplace. Above the fireplace is the Holy Bible. Above the Holy Bible is a picture of the sheriff and his family. Maybe you weren't sheriff yet. He was only 14 years old, sitting down right here, already 6'3". Now, this is sister, brother, mom, and his daddy, the Baptist minister. The reason this is here is because he wants people to think that he is a good, God-fearing, loving family man, all right? He is a politician. He has to be elected to the office of sheriff every 4 years. So, not only do they have to believe he's good at his job, but she's the best at his job. They also have to believe he shares their family values. Now, I guarantee you guys, this ain't nothing but the farthest thing from the truth. Let me give y'all an example, okay? What's your favorite game?
No, nothing.
Scrabble?
Monopoly.
Monopoly? You could have just said boring, but... What about you? Scrabble. You? Scrabble. Rummy. Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly, yeah.
Now, our sheriff, his favorite game is kick the prisoner down the stairs.
Kick the prisoner down the stairs.
It's like a more fun version of kick the prisoner, but you get more points per step. Now, he uses this facade to get his hands some pretty cool toys. First, which is on the wall right over there, guys. What's that called? Telephone, exactly. I had a guy yesterday say coat rack, and I was like, yeah, that's a fun toy, yeah. Now, if I were to put that in my cell, what would it then be called? Cell phone, exactly. Like I said, the jokes get worse. I think it's about as bad as they get. Now, the sheriff has one on her hand, right? So when I got himself a fancy typewriter. Y'all have heard of the album number 8, right? You ain't heard of the album number 8?
No.
The greatest typewriter in history?
No.
Well, that's okay, because we already have a pre-released edition of the Oliver number 9. Oh, come on, I bet y'all have never seen something so technologically advanced in your lives. Now, speaking of technologically advanced, I have a special treat for you today. We have none other than a fingerprinting kit all the way from Scotland Yard in England. Now, there are only 3 of them in the United States. There's one in New York City, one in Washington, D.C., one right here in St. Johns County.
Really?
Now, that shows how well connected our sheriff is. Now, I don't know a whole lot about fingerprinting, but I do know that when I got here, the sheriff, he took my fingers and put them in some ink, then on some paper. Now you can dust around rooms, find out if I've been touching things I ain't supposed to be. By the way, thank you for opening the door for me. Now, we're about to move upstairs to the men's block. Are you going to follow me up there? Anyone that does not want to go upstairs or cannot go upstairs, you can always exit out of the big metal door right there that'll take you out to the front porch where we began our journey. If you leave behind any friends or family, you can always meet us around back of the gym coming down the stairs crossing the gallows. All right? Y'all follow me. Last person out, please close this door.
How are the, sir, how are the steps? Are they steep?
They are steep, yes. They are about that tall each, and they're about that thing. What's misery? I said the correct word, misery. Now, they do not call themselves a jail building manufacturing company for nothing. Building manufacturing jails is their business, and business is good for them. As a matter of fact, I hear they did some fine job with the design of these cells. They're going to use the exact same design to renovate an old fort, turn it into a prison. So I think they're calling it Alka-Seltzer. Well, anyways, now, guys, when I got up here, the sheriff himself communicated a message to me. He said, Silas, what have you been doing these last 30 minutes? I said, process some new inmate schools. He said, for 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, give or take. He said, you mean to tell me you've been making these poor people listen to you talk for 30 minutes straight? And I said, well, it's my job, ain't it? And he said that was more than punishment enough for the crimes you guys did last night. So he's going to go ahead and pardon now, all right? Now I'm going to leave you up here to explore on your own.
Okay.
You can go inside of the cells, around the cells, and the 2 additional rooms across the hallway. Please do not go back down the stairs we came up. When you exit, please go through that door right there. Okay. All right? Now, before I leave you, does anyone have any questions for me?
You got a second job as a comedian.
Oh, yeah? I've heard that once or twice in my life.
Yeah, right?
Anybody else? All right, well, my name is Silas.
Okay.
All my friends call me Si. So you can all, of course, call me Silas. Y'all have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys have fun?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, you guys have a great day.
Oh, that's the current sheriff.
Picture of my dad holding the barrel at some of these.
Oh, wow. Oh,
The small like this big, there are 4 people.
it could be,
4 people?
yeah?
Wow. How are you, buddy?
Not good. God, is it 22? You get shot with that, it'll splinter up into your. Oh.
What is this, museum? Oh, no, this, we did not go to the museum yet.
No.
Hurry up.
Yep. A lot of guns.
RAHHH.
I just like to soak it.
Good morning.